This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Thursday means it's Fishbowl Thursday here in Instant Deck Tech land, and we have a super sweet combo deck for Standard for this week, and it's involving Squee the Immortal, the new Squee, which we haven't really talked about much. It also involves Teshar, which is like the premier combo piece in the Standard format, and I have to say, we have looked at some Teshar combo decks in the past, and some of them have been pretty bad, some of them have been pretty impractical to actually pull off the combo, some of them don't really care about the combo and just do it sometimes. This one actually seems like it might work. It doesn't take that many pieces, and it can kind of play a little bit of an aggro game on its own, so I actually really like this build and think it's a pretty interesting way to combo off with Squee and Teshar. It comes to us from Fluffy IGT, who took it to a, well, Fishbowl Thursday finish here in Instant Deck Tech land, so thanks to Fluffy IGT on submitting a super cool deck. If you want your own deck considered for a future edition of Fishbowl Thursday, make sure to leave a link in the comments, or you can email me, saffronolive@mtggoldfish.com. Anyway, let's look at Infina-Squee for Standard. So to understand this combo, even though Squee is the namesake card, we gotta start with Teshar Ancestor's Apostle. So we played it before, you might know what it does by now. Whenever we cast a historic spell, we get to reanimate a creature with converted mana cost 3 or less. So this is combo piece number 1. Get a Teshar on the battlefield. Then we need a Hazoret's Monument. Hazoret's Monument does double duty in this deck, looting us through our deck to find our finishers as we're casting creatures, also making our red creatures cost 1 less to cast, which is really important. It allows us to go infinite with that cost reduction. The next piece is Squee the Immortal. So you can kind of see the combo developing. Squee, its role in this deck is that we can cast it over and over and over again, which, because it's a legendary creature, means it's historic, which means we trigger Teshar over and over and over again to keep reanimating things over and over and over again. Also, as we're casting Squee again and again and again, we're able to trigger Hazoret's Monument repeatedly to loot through our deck. Discard a card, draw, until we find our actual game-ending finisher. So the last piece to our combo involves Skirk Prospector and Wily Goblin. So we do need the Teshar on the battlefield, but the loop that we're basically trying to set up is Teshar on the battlefield alongside a Hazoret's Monument. With Skirk Prospector, Wily Goblin can be in our graveyard, can be on the battlefield, also a Squee the Immortal. So the idea is we're going to sacrifice the Wily Goblin to add a mana, so it goes to our graveyard. Then we cast our Squee, or sacrifice our Squee so we can cast our Squee for 2 mana. So we cast the Squee, it's going to trigger Hazoret's Monument, we do our looting. Squee, when we cast it, it triggers Teshar, which gets back our Wily Goblin, which makes a treasure. So then, at this point, we have a treasure, we can sack Wily Goblin, we can sacrifice Squee. So that's 3 mana. 1 from sacking Wily Goblin, 1 from sacking Squee, 1 from the treasure, but we're only spending 2 mana to go through this loop, because Squee only costing 2 because of Hazoret's Monument. So we sacrifice everything, cast the Squee again for 2 mana, get back the Wily Goblin with Teshar, we're looting through our deck with Hazoret's Monument. Again, we're making 3 mana, spending 2 mana, so this process gives us not just infinite mana, but the awesome part about this deck is with Hazoret's Monument, as we're doing this, we get infinite looting. So we're looting through our deck, searching for our finishers, and when it comes to finishing the game, we have 2 plans. So first off, Walking Ballista is pretty simple. We loot through our deck, we're making infinite mana, and then we draw our Walking Ballista, we play it with a ton of counters, and we just kill our opponent by pinging them to death with Walking Ballista. Pretty simple. Makeshift Mutation takes advantage of the fact that we have that 1 mana left over in our combo, so we can make a bunch of mana, then we cast the Makeshift Mutation with this infinite mana, and then, as we're going through our loop of reanimating things and sacrificing things, since we have just infinite mana sitting in our mana pool, we can use Makeshift Mutation to sacrifice, let's say, the Wily Goblin instead of the Skirk Prospector, because we don't need the mana anymore. We already made infinite mana. Then we just keep sacrificing and going through the same loop we were talking about, getting back the Wily Goblin when we cast a Squee with Teshar to sack it all again, and then we're pinging our opponent with Makeshift Mutations, which kills our opponent along the way. Just ping, ping, ping as we go through that loop with our infinite mana. Otherwise, Otherwise, one of the sweetest cards in this deck is Board the Weatherlight, which is 2 mana, dig 5 deep in our library to find basically any of our combo pieces. We can find Hazoret's Monument because it's an artifact. Teshar and Squee Immortal are both legendary, so it's just kind of our ancient stirrings. Just like you see ancient stirrings in decks like Lantern and Modern, digging 5 cards deep to find their important cards, we can kind of do the same thing with Board the Weatherlight. Finally, we have a backup combo. I'm not a huge fan of this combo because it's a little clunky, but we have Aviary Mechanic. Aviary Mechanic with a Teshar out in 2 copies of Mox Amber does let us go infinite. We can keep casting a Mox Amber to get back Aviary Mechanic, to pick up a Mox Amber, to then have the second one resolve, tap it for mana, cast the Mox Amber after sacrificing Aviary Mechanic to Makeshift Mutations, get back Mechanic, bounce the Mox Amber, loop, 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 loop. It's a little clunky, but it does give us another way to backdoor our way into infinite damage. We just use the 1 mana we make from Mox Amber by tapping it before we bounce it to use Makeshift Mutations as our sack outlet on Aviary Mechanic. So just loop, 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 sack, 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 ping, ping, ping. Eventually that'll kill our opponent as well. Mox Amber, also, we have Squee in this deck, which is a really hard to kill legend. So while it's not going to make mana on turn 1 and do crazy explosive things, it is a consistent source of having an extra mana in our deck, while also working as a backdoor combo piece. As far as the mana base, pretty simple. We got some dual lands. Spire of Industry takes advantage of our treasure tokens, a bunch of basic lands. In the sideboard, we have Authority of the Council's Magma Spray Abrade. Now, I should say, the deck that was submitted for Fishbowl Thursday did not have a sideboard in it, so I just threw in some kind of typical sideboard cards that you probably want to consider for your sideboard if you do decide to pick up the deck. So this is a sideboard I would play, but it's added by me, not by the original submitter. So Authority for aggro, Magma Spray Abrade for removal. Pianalar is actually pretty sweet with a loop. It is a creature that costs 3 or less, so if we keep reanimating that with Teshar, we're getting an extra token with our Pianalar. Scavenger Grounds to deal with graveyards, Fight with Fire to kill big things like Baneslayer Angel, aka Lyra Dawnbringer. Also, since we have infinite mana, we can also just 10 our opponent's face or wrath their board with the kicker when we're comboing if we need to. Ixalan's Binding to deal with Scarab Gods and Hazarets, and that is Infina-Squee for standard, and that's been our Fishbowl Thursday instant deck tech for this week. So thanks so much to Fluffy IGT for submitting it. Thank you to everyone for watching. Again, if you want your own deck considered for a future Fishbowl Thursday, leave that link in the comments. Email me, saffronolive@mtggoldfish.com. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.